Good day everyone, my name is Rulio Camacho, a marine ecologist from Antigua and Barbuda, and I'm here to talk to you about lionfish and mercury in our reef fish species. This is a regional project looking at fish mercury biomonitoring, and it's a collaboration between the Biodiversity Research Institute and the Basel Convention Regional Center in the Caribbean. Our Caribbean reefs are facing a threat from an invasive alien species called lionfish. These are a species that are native to the Indo-Pacific region, but have been having a negative impact on our Caribbean waters since the mid-1980s. They were first sighted off the Florida coast in 1985, and they were believed to be introduced by unwanted lionfish from an aquarium, and that's believed to be the source of the invasion. Since then, they've been noted throughout the Caribbean region and were first spotted in Antigua and Barbuda in the year 2010. These species can reach sexual maturity within a year of birth, and the females may produce as much as 2 million eggs per year. These fertilized eggs hatch within 36 hours. They may grow as fast as 1 millimeter per day and can grow up to 15 inches as an adult. They are voracious predators. The juveniles feed primarily on crustaceans, but their diet switches to juvenile fish as they get older. This is a major threat to our local fisheries as they feed on important species such as lobster, crabs, and fish. They have up to 18 needle-like spines, which can deliver venom, and they use this for their defense against predators or humans who are trying to touch them. Caribbean reef fish numbers have been declining over the last few decades due to a variety of pressures. Key species like parrotfish, which clean the reef, are disappearing, while key predators like groupers and snappers are being reduced in numbers and are not seen on our coral reef ecosystem like they were before. Lionfish serve as a useful alternative to our local reef species as a food source. They are a very tasty fish with a white flesh and can be cooked like any other grouper or grouper related species. Additionally, they are lower in mercury than many other species of reef fish. Bigger species of fish may contain elevated levels of mercury, also known as quicksilver. If consumed too frequently, it can accumulate in our bodies and have possible long-term health effects. It can be especially dangerous to expectant mothers and infants because of its effects on the developing brain. Smaller species that are typically safer to eat as they have less mercury, and you can mix it with other protein-rich alternatives. Lionfish have fairly low levels of mercury, and our recommended eating amounts are about 1 to 2 meals per week. Alright, so let's examine the lionfish. So as I mentioned before, they are invasive alien species, not native to our waters. They are venomous. These gloves actually won't protect me from the venom. They just protect me from getting my hands fishy. And they're a fairly simple fish species. So this is a lionfish, all right? It's actually related to the grouper family in some way. Typical reef fish species. Again, venomous, not poisonous. So the flesh is fine. The venomous parts are primarily in these upper fins. See if you can see here, these are actually like needles, and they actually store the venom within these spines themselves. So you have to be very careful with these spines. Even though the fish is dead, if I was to get pricked by it now, it could still envenomate me. So the main spines are found on the top part of the body. So you can have up to 14 spines up here. I'm spreading back as far as this last one here, right? You also have some other spines found a couple other places. So the first few fins on the anal fin, right here, has venomous spines. So you can see one there, another one here, another one here. And also on the pelvic fin, the first fin here is also a venomous spine, right? So you have one here, you have a couple here, and then majority up here. And so what these fish do is they'll actually stick their spines up. I'll just hold this carefully. And in the water, they'll actually spread these spines out, and they may actually pitch their bodies, like lean their bodies forward to try and envenomate their predators. So they don't use this to hunting, they actually use this for their protection. And this is actually one of the reasons why they've been able to dominate in our water so much, because they have no natural predators. They also hunt fairly ferociously, so they have these very large pectoral fins, and what they do is they spread out these pectoral fins on either side, and they will herd juvenile fish into a corner, and then they use suction to suck them into the mouth part. It's important to remember that the face, even though some people say it's a bit ugly, these are all just knobs that develop as the fish gets older. None of these are venomous at any point, so you can touch these as regular and you can hold the fish. So the easiest way for you to deal with a lionfish is simply having a good pair of shears. And to be safe, you just want to cut off all the fins. So you want to start with the tail fin, fully cut off. Then you're going to work your way carefully up the dorsal fin. Be very careful with the spines, just so they don't dig you. Once you've cut these off, again, even like this, these spines still have venom in them. You then turn the fish over, you take off the anal fins and the pelvic fin. The final set are these pectoral fins. Again, these have no venom whatsoever, and actually they're used quite a bit in craft, so people make earrings from them. As you see, they can be quite pretty. But to be safe, you can always cut these off also, very simply. And so now, you have a fish that's completely harmless, excellent tasting meat, very tasty if I say so myself. I have a lot of friends who constantly come after me for lionfish. And again, a really useful alternative to our local reef fish species because they reproduce so fast and they grow so fast. And eating them are actually a good thing for the environment. So you're actually helping the reef ecosystem as you help them. So lionfish, again, a very tasty fish. They're not poisonous, so the flesh is completely safe to eat. It's only venomous. And once you remove the spines, then you have nothing to worry about. Let's move towards a mercury-free society.